Are we going live with this too, Tiffany? Okay. Good morning, everybody. And you know what? Everybody who's on this call, you're going to get massive nuggets. And I want to make sure that it's recorded and live because you're going to want to go back and listen to this again. And the reason why that I say that is because the GPS group is intentional about providing content and then having us discuss it and being off of our calls by 9:30. I respect all of your times. And we're going to talk about how you can work smarter and make money in less time by habit stacking. So, how many of y'all, by a show of hands, have read the book Atomic Habits? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Adding
Well, y'all
adding
are
to
in
my
for a
Audible
treat.
cart right now.
Y'all are in for a treat. The, this is what's so cool. Whether you're new, whether you're old, habits matter. And some of us get stuck in bad habits and don't know how to get out of it. Some of us have habits that we're used to, and we can add new habits to that. And we're going to talk about that really quick. So here's the thing that I want us to understand. I am a fast talker. I'm going to get through the content and then we will backtrack and answer questions. Fair enough? So I want to give y'all the little secret nuggets within the book Atomic Habits. I want to give you 4 laws. Law number 1, make it obvious. Make it obvious what your new habit or what habit you need to implement in your life is. Law number 2, make it attractive. Make it so irresistible that you don't want to do that habit. Law number 3, make it easy. And this is what I mean by making it easy. Don't take 2 steps backwards. Just go through the process, make it easy for you to do it, stack it on top of another, and keep moving forward. Even if it's in the inches, remember, because I've always said, an inch is a cent, a yard's are hard. So let's keep that. Law number 4, make it satisfying. Make sure that when you're making these changes to your habits, that you're stacking it in a way where there's a reward. Now, here's the secret. You have to read the book to dig into it, to implement it. How cool is that? Good morning, everybody. I see y'all all popping on. I just went through the 4 laws and habit stacking from the book from James Clear, Atomic Habits. Highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. Law number 1, I'm going to say it again. Make it obvious. Law number 2, make it attractive. Law number 3, make it easy. And law number 4, make it satisfying. So I just want to give you a little example of this. I was on the call earlier with one of our awesome agents, and I'm not gonna I'm gonna do a George. I'm not gonna say her name, Liz Quinones. And what was interesting is being able to see how she has habit stacked to create the momentum that she needs to stay on track with her goals. So she has massive goals. And so we talked and dissected how her habits are increasing her business. And if she's short, then she knows what to do. And this is what it came down to: how many conversations she has in a week. And if y'all remember, when we were talking a couple of Fridays ago, if you just have 10 conversations a day, 50 conversations a week, that leads to a closing, not a lead, a closing. So this is how we dissected it for Liz. Liz does 3 days of lead generation because she has family stuff that is on her calendar. So she works on her job intensely, purposefully on her 5 jobs, 3 days a week in the afternoon. I'm giving all of her secrets away, right? So in those conversations that she has, she understands that she has to have 60 conversations in a week that leads to 6 leads, which leads to her conversion of making sure that she has 4 closings. Did y'all get all that? I see Joy, she's scratching her head. Liz is in the car. And yes, Liz has been talking about you. So when we're developing our habits to make sure that they incorporate what is our money making activities, which are what? There's 5 things: lead generation, lead follow up, set appointments, negotiate contracts, script and role play. 5 jobs. That's working on your business. Those are the money making activities. So in Liz's, for instance, she has everything that she needs in her pipeline. And if she already has a built-in buffer of that 20% fallout. So if she's setting 6 appointments and she knows she only needs 4 closings, then she's already made that 20% in there to cover that fallout, because she's a businesswoman, she understands it. So she has 60 conversations, which leads to 6 leads, which leads to 4 closings a month. Now, sometimes she has more, sometimes she has less. However, it is cyclical to where she can track her business, track her conversion rates, because I was asking her, what's your conversion once they come to leads? Well, I have a little bit. Yes. And know your numbers, because here's the awesome thing about habits. You can track your habits. You can track the results. You can track your efforts. And if you're tracking those numbers, then you would know if you needed to add a few more conversations a day and working smarter rather than harder. And that is why us as a GPS group, we have made a commitment to your times where you're most impactful, which is typically in the mornings, that we're not going to have these calls go till 10:30, 11 o'clock. That's eating up all of your productive time, because then it's time to eat. You've like sat in front of the screen so long, you're just like, whoo, okay, I'm melted. Build the habit. Start your calendar. Make sure that your habits are on your calendar so that you can check them off. Okay. Make them easy. Make them satisfying. It's so important for this, y'all. Because if you noticed in the tagline that we had for our call today, how to make more money in less time. If you are hyper focused on your habit of having your conversations, which remember, I just said 50 conversations. Liz knows she has to make 60 to make her numbers. If you make that commitment, it all works out. And this was what was interesting when Liz and I were talking. Okay. She said, hey, by the way, there were conversations that I had that didn't even have to do with real estate, but it ended up real estate came into the picture and got more leads in the pipeline. That was huge, y'all. I want you to understand that your actions are results. What does Tom Martin always say? Mindset, skill set, habits equal results. So if my mindset is I need to develop better habits, and I create that skill set that those habits are stacked in a purposeful manner, and the habits continue, that equals results, because I get into action, and those actions lead to wealth. Not riches, leads to wealth. So there is an individual who's on the call, which I don't see his, oh yes, I do see his face. He's walking. And it was, I'm bringing him up because I'm going to highlight him for a second. Jamal, my Superman. Okay. When he sent me a goal sheet, because he asked me to look at it, when he sent me a goal sheet, one of his goals was creating legacies. It wasn't, I want to be rich. He wanted to create legacies. That's incredible. And then we heard from other people that were sharing about their open house experiences where they got their kids involved, and how that example was passed on. So if we're building good habits, it's bleeding through our whole life. That's huge. That's less stress. That's more happy time. And you're concentrating on your 5 jobs with just 4 basic laws to set up your habits for success. And you're stacking them in a manner to where you can get rid of the bad habits, stack the good habits, make them so irresistible that you can't stop making those. That's what's important to me and for y'all. So that was a lot of content and a little bit of time because y'all are important. So who can tell me what you heard and how it has impacted you, which we call an aha? Mr. Bill Bliss, I see you on my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you feel your habits help your business?
Well, I'll say that my habits lately have not been the best. And what I find when I've been rocking over the however many years it's been, every time your success, you can always point to the disciplines and the correct habits. And it's pretty simple. Getting consistent results, like Liz is doing, that's just something that you've got to do. I mean, you want 3-4 closings a month, you're going to have to be figuring out how to get on the phone. Now, I don't know if that's all in her sphere or if that's all geo farming. Everyone's going to have to figure that out for themselves. If that's actually from, that could be from open houses, guys, where she's following up and those are part of her. So you told me, I think you said, Liz did what she did 3 hours, 3 times a day, 3 times a week. She worked on her business.
That's
Okay.
correct.
So she's making 20 phone calls.
Yep.
She's making 20. She's making 20. I mean,
so let's
Yeah.
clarify that, Bill, real quick. She doesn't just make 20 phone calls. She tracks hers by conversations. So
I'm
those
sorry.
are 20 conversations.
Yep.
So it may take more calls, but it was 20 conversations, two-way
Right.
conversations.
Right. I misspoke. I did
You're good.
I did have that down. Yeah, I had that written down, actually. I just said it incorrectly. And that's definitely something that we all can do. It's something that you can it's a bite of an elephant you can take. And I don't think that anything that we're discussing today at all is something that that's not doable. I really appreciate the simplicity. And it's there. It's there. You think back to something that you did before or something, whether it was sports, maybe that came easy, but you knew you had to do certain things. You had to knock out certain things on a daily basis. And that's awesome. Just kind of really we're our own, like me, not getting things done the way I need to be getting them done. It's all in here. It's whatever it is, self-sabotage, laziness, etc. So really liked what I mean. I hope it was encouraging for everyone as it was for me, when you can break it down and write it down and go, okay, well, looks like 10 conversations a day or a little bit more. You break it down 12. If you don't work 6 days a week, you only want to work 5. Okay, you do the math. It's 12.
Right.
But you got to have those appointments, and those people will reveal themselves to you in those conversations.
And what's interesting is the conversations don't have to be geared directly toward real estate. I want y'all to understand this. You know that we are in a time where people are scared to death, and they're scared of what's happening in the market. They're scared of what's going on with their savings accounts, their IRA accounts, their stock market portfolios. And we can encourage them and have a conversation with them to give them a little bit of peace. I had a conversation with a lady yesterday, and she was all I mean, she just couldn't wrap her horns about what all had happened to her stock portfolio. And I was like, well, hang on a second. You have 3 homes in your assets. Let me do something for you. Let me run some numbers and let's see how much appreciation you've gained while you've had these properties. It exceeded the loss of her stock portfolio by 23%. That was a great conversation. That gave her a little bit of hope. Are you having conversations with your people that you're a real estate advisor? Or are you just waiting for them to buy, sell, or invest in a house? Are you contacting them to ease their pain through this tough time? Reach out. David put something so impactful in the chat.
I was gonna say, can we help David real quick?
Yeah,
Love
absolutely.
to talk to him.
So go ahead, Bill, talk with David.
Hey, David, you ready? You ready to rock?
Absolutely. This is a question
Okay.
that's been on my mind for a long time.
Sure, man. Then now, I just want to ask a quick question, if I may, Claire. So who are these people? They're not in your sphere? Are they sort of cold calls when you're saying that, hey, doing the whole Ford, which is, you can explain that to everybody, family, occupation, something and something. I don't even remember.
Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, or it can
That's
be
what I said.
family, occupation, recreation, motivation.
Okay. Tell me about those people a little bit first.
Well, yeah, they're typically they're not really my sphere. They're typically people that I'm prospects, prospects are maybe new leads. So besides Ford, I don't really know. And, it just comes off genuine, like, oh, how's the family? Like, I don't know your family, it's, if somebody were to come at me like that, I'd be like, all right, that's gross. Clearly you're about to lead into some kind of sales thing.
I agree. So
Mhm.
David, Bill, I'm going to pop in real quick.
Please.
So David, where are these leads coming from?
Could be anywhere, could so like Facebook Marketplace, door to door.
Excellent. So
Anywhere.
let's role play that. Okay. Let's give it a little hint. Hey, David, I see that you have been in Facebook Marketplace. What was it that piqued your interest and had you click?
Well, I was interested in the listing that you had posted.
Oh, and what part of that listing interested you most?
The price.
What was it about the price that helped you decide to reach out?
I'm so good at this. Yeah, it was 2,300, and that's something I can afford right now. Also, it was nice that it had a pool.
Oh yeah, that pool was nice, wasn't it?
Oh
Why
yeah.
did you like the pool so much?
Okay, I gotcha. So see, this is stuff that just doesn't even like pop into my head. I just kind of go blank.
And that's okay, David, because here's the thing. If you're asking questions, you're learning more. And then you're able to hit your needs, because I can tell you that in that conversation, did I not keep going forward into why they were piquing your interest? You could have sat back and said, oh, well, I've got a family. It'll be fun watching the kids. That will come organically when you ask questions. Just keep going deeper. Be authentic. You really want to know what piqued their interest.
Here's my genuine problem. I didn't want to put this in text, but I guess since we're being vulnerable, okay, I'll just say it out loud. It sounds gross, but don't judge me. I can't make myself care.
Okay, that's great. You don't have to care.
But I want to care. See, that's the thing. I'm conflicted.
Here's the thing.
Like, I want to give a
Care
shit, but
comes
I
later
can't.
after the conversation, after you've built a relationship. You can have a conversation as an inquiry conversation so that you can build their need business-wise. Guys' brains work that way.
When you're going to care, when he's going to care, Claire, and you're exactly right. Guy's brain's going to work that way. As soon as you do something for him, you're going to start to care for him.
Yes.
As soon as you get a chance to go out and serve them and walk around with them and open some doors, you're going to care.
Yes.
And you
And
can even preface the conversation and be like, hey, David, I'm a question asker, buddy, because I want to serve you as best I can. If you're looking for a home and just however I can help you, I will. So I'm going to ask some questions so that I learn and don't waste your time. Right. So I learn how best to serve you, what best to show you, however you want to say it. I'm a question asker, man. I just want to get to know you so that I can serve you better. And you sort of handle that objection before, hey, why is he, if you feel funny with it, just say, hey, I'm going to ask some questions. And that's a good way to sort of break the ice and get their permission and then go into it. But you're going to care as soon as you spend some time, buddy. Book the appointment, go, you're going to start to care.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much how I operate. It's
So,
like once I get
David,
face to face and I get to know somebody, that's where it
yes,
goes.
so I can encourage you, look up Gary Vaynerchuk,
Okay.
watch what he does, watch his postings. Gary V is so incredible at that, which is getting that care involved in your business. It's huge. He has a very strong vernacular, which is like mine. And we're being recorded and we're live, so I won't use Gary V's words. However, he is direct and to the point and how to get past that point to bring huge success. Because for guys, I understand that. Your brains are not wired that way. You're just trying to get to what is their need so that you can fill it and fix it. Y'all are fixers. So ask questions,
Yes.
fix it. Okay.
Yes.
Tim McGuire put it in there and it was so true. My husband is the same way. He wants to fix it. And sometimes I have to tell him, hey, babe, I just need to verbal bomb it. Don't need you to fix it. I just need your care right now. Y'all have that innate ability to fix it. And that's good. The only way you can fix something is by getting the instructions, right? By reading what needs to be done. When we're in a conversation with somebody, the only way we can do that is by asking questions. Why did it pique your interest? Why is the pool important? Okay, great. So David, thank you for being vulnerable. This helped a lot of people on this call. And I encourage you with that type of habit stacking and getting past those little subtle corrections that need to be made, like this one, it will encourage you to get and make better conversations. That's okay. That's part of your job. That's part of script and role play. We just did that with you live. That's awesome. Pat yourself on the back while you're you're walking down the road. Pat yourself on the back. Chris, you too. She's smiling at me. She's like, golly, Mama C, what the hell? They'll make me sweaty and I'm sitting still. That's awesome. There's a whole bunch of y'all walking today. How many of it? You did gravy. So I'm trying to read the chat right now. Sorry. There's a lot of y'all in there.
Thank you for that, by the way. That was very helpful.
Bill, thank you for helping out with David. Yes, absolutely. That's
Thanks,
what
Bill.
we do. We collaborate. We don't compete.
Yes, sir. Anytime, man.
Chris, can you come off mute and explain what you said? I have to make people a human first, get to know them so I get it. And then we'll get to Virginia. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, so what I mean by that is I absolutely do not care. And for a long time, I cared that I didn't care and it affected my sales. But once you just get to know that that's your personality and that in order to serve that person properly, they have to be brought into like your sphere, your circle, your zone, your safety. And then that's getting to know that person, which is like making them a human to me, because it's just, I'm a person that has walls really high and I don't let people in. So in order for me to serve people, they either have to be aggressive or I have to get to know them. Sorry, walking uphill.
You're good. And I think that that's important because we all don't have the same behavioral styles. However, we all have the same job.
Right. My biggest problem, so it's funny because Fred's going to have a call tomorrow with Nolly Williams. And
love me some Nolly Williams, the real estate cowboy, buddy.
Yes. And when I was at EXPCon, he was on stage with another fellow and he was like, listen, I suck at working buyers. I'm high D. I don't care. And that affected my business for so long until I just stopped fighting it. And so, like, once I heard him say that on stage, I was like, oh, it's okay that that's a part of my personality. How do I navigate around it?
Absolutely. And that's when you get into the listings. That's when you get into the money. Okay, Virginia, go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So I have the opposite problem. I talk too much and I care too much about people, anyone. And then I see myself involved in conversations like for hours. And then I was in an open house this weekend with Mateo, and there was this couple, and I just, because I relate to them. I'm a mom, I have kids, I have dogs, I have family, and then I have the same thing that they are going through. So I just kept like talking and talking, and Mateo was like, Vicky, please, there's a moment you have to be quiet. Like, don't encourage them to talk too much. So how much is it like too much? Like, but people, they really like to talk to me because I don't know, I'm just caring because I have worked with children my whole life. And I have that mama spirit in me. And I don't know now how to stop it. Like, it's hard for me not to care about every, single person. And then I come home and I just have them in my brain. Oh my goodness, they were going through this, through that. So that's something that it's hard for me to learn when to say, okay, that's it. I'm not going to care that much.
So this is the opposite of the same habit. Okay. And this is what's so cool. Those of us who have a really huge servant heart are chatty Cathys, especially if we have a high I. And this is what's incredible. It is just as hard for us to shut up and ask questions as it is for somebody to start a conversation and ask questions. So I do not like pendulums. I like metronomes because I like staying on the top side. So if anybody knows what a metronome is, who's in music, they understand that the metronome moves on the top part of the quadrant. So we are both experiencing the same thing. And here's the best thing that I can say. People like to hear themselves talk. So take yourself out of it if you find yourself chatty Cathy, and put them back in the driver's seat by asking a question. They want to talk about their kids. They want to talk about their experiences. That builds the trust. So take the cotton out of your ears. After you ask the question, put it in your mouth and just shake your head and smile. And why is that so important to you? Okay, great. Ask another question. Take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth and ask. So I have the same thing, and it has been a huge learning experience for me to make sure that although we have people that are scared to death and don't really care about having a conversation or seeing another human being in society, as to the one who has to solve everything and chatty, oh, I relate with everybody because I've been through everything, right? However, if we really stop and think, if you're watching those subtle cues when you're speaking with someone, as soon as they've dropped their eyes to the left, they stopped listening. Ask another question. Keep them engaged. That was a little nugget, by the way. Yes, Holly, mimic their posture. I love it, love it,
Yeah.
love it.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Holly, you're blowing up my chat and I can't read it all at the same time. Come off mute and tell us. Oh, she's driving. You got to come off mute, babe. I can't hear you. There we go. We can't hear you, even though you're off mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, hold on, sorry. Speaker. Okay, I think I can hear you now.
Yeah, we're here. We can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's wrong to bond with them after you've reached a certain point, you know, where you feel like you're kind of in that zone of, like Chris was saying, they've moved into your sphere at that point. Or like a quick comment, like they say something, I don't know, about hip pain. Like right now I'm dealing with a lot of hip pain. If one of my clients said, oh, my hip, I might say, gosh, you know, that's crazy. I too am dealing with some hip pain. Do you have any advice on that? Or, you know, something like that. Like it's okay to do quick little relatable comments and then move on. You know, bring it back to them, just keep making it about them. I mean, as far as like communication styles, I've always been taught like mimic them. So if you're sitting across the table from them and they have their arms crossed, cross yours. If they're leaning back, you lean back too. It feels imposing if they are leaning back and you're leaning forward like this. It's a little interrogative. It's just uncomfortable. So you just kind of just do what they're doing. If they don't like eye contact, don't do it. You know, some people are really uncomfortable with eye contact. You know, so just try to, if they don't like to chit chat a lot and they're a little more reserved, just hold your tongue, like hold yourself back, hold your personality a little bit, just pull it back. It's just a good practice. And then you'll feel the right moments when they've opened the door to show your personality a little bit more. I even, if I'm dealing with a more stoic personality, I really watch my facial expressions because I'm super expressive. And that might make them feel a little bit like they might get on the defense. It's just not settling to them. It's not comfortable. So I really watch like my eyes, because my eyes will get really big and I get excited. And so I'm like, okay, Holly, just like, I like soften my muscles in my face and I don't smile as much. And I kind of slow my speech, which helps me to kind of do that. I don't speak as fast. I try to speak, you know, I try to think before I speak. So it's all just good practice, but it's not like faking. It's not being fake either. It's just, it's making it about them and learning how to be a chameleon and just be adaptable to the situation.
Do you feel that that was a habit that you created in your world to be more purposeful in your job?
Not so much a habit, but just I guess a habit. It's just a learned skill. And I didn't realize, it never dawned on me. I'd heard the mimicking before and I kind of started practicing that in my sales career, but it really hit me when I had a female manager once tell me at a lunch with me, she said, you know, Holly, your people love you. You're really like great at the relationship side of things and building the relationship, but you kind of suck when it comes to like the close, which I always have. You know, I just kind of choke on the 8 ball. I'm still myself, like, and she goes, try to, at that point in the conversation, when it becomes about business, turn it down like 5 levels. Let cute Holly go play and bring in big girl business Holly. And the way I do that, and what she taught me to do, is lower your octave, literally bring your voice down a few octaves, speak lower, more commanding, more authoritative. And your questions become more, you know, just really sounding like almost commanding with your statements, where it's like you've reached a point where you're kind of, they want to be told what to do. Basically, there's a point in the relationship where they don't want you to be letting them guide anymore, and it's time for you to almost tell them what to do, if that makes sense, in a very kind of, I don't know how to explain that, but it's
So I think you brought up something really great, which is the fact that we're the engine and they're still in the driver's seat. However, they've put their foot on the gas pedal. They need to know where to go. So it's
Right.
at that point in time where the vernacular, the tonality in our conversation changes, because if they're a first-time home buyer or they've never sold a home before, they need that engine to put them in the right path. So they're being guided through that direction so that they're not making a left turn or a right turn too quickly, too hastily. So that is a perfect example, Holly, of when you are making sure that you are running that engine. They make the decision. You just provide the direction and the engine to do it. So I think that that's a great way of putting it. Excellent, excellent advice. And yes, the arts of sales and the arts of language in the dictionary of language, I think I put it in there. The dictionary of body language, which Chris had put in the chat too. So
Hey, good
finish with the
morning. Can
content.
I
So now,
add to that?
go ahead, Jamal.
Good morning. Good morning, all. Hey, great points. I'm just enjoying this morning. I just wanted to add that obviously body language, nonverbal cues. Someone said something earlier about folded arms. Yeah, pay attention to that stuff. Understand what that means. That's defensive. Not probably not looking at you. Got to recognize or understand their culture. Some cultures, they see eye contact as disrespectful. So not everybody eye contact means that they're listening. So you got to understand that as well. All right. Also, when we talk about having a conversation, I think David mentioned it earlier. I'll give you an example. This morning, I was just walking past a neighbor and I just complimented their dog, and that led to exchanging numbers. So really, you want to start off with the small stuff. So give them the fluff, give them the stuff, give them the fluff. Building rapport is the first thing. Compliment somebody. Something as simple as maybe, hey, cute shirt, and see where that goes. In the end, really, you should be listening more than what you're saying. You have two ears and one mouth for a reason. So really what it comes down to, everything that's talked about today is really, you have to listen, and listening, active listening, that's a skill. And that's something, I've been doing this, like I said, 15 years. And that's something that you have to check yourself every day. People like to talk. I think Coach, you said that earlier. If you ask the right questions, I would say open-ended questions. I think everybody on here should understand what open-ended questions are. Practice those, look those up, ask pointed, open-ended questions. And then if you want an answer, then you would ask a closed-ended question. Hey, what's your name? That's an example, open-ended question. How are you doing? Well, that would be more closed-ended, but just something that would bring on a conversation. Weather is nice, isn't it? And value focused questions. Those are other types of questions. When we get into, if you've gotten that buy-in from that client or that customer, and they're looking for, hey, where do I go now? I think you guys spoke on that just now. Is now you just want to facilitate that conversation. You want to be able to just ask the right questions and allow them to talk, and then you pick up on what's important to them, and that should get you to where you want to go. But anyhow, that's my piece.
Thanks, Jamal.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris, because we're an after party, by the way.
So just piggybacking off of that, when I was in corporate, we had it's kind of like a cult, but we learned to ask 3 layers of questions. So for every one question, there's another one you can answer, and then another one. And by that time, you've built enough rapport with the person. So for example, yesterday I was on the phone with a lead that came off of TikTok for my kayak shack. And instead of just getting the lead for the kayak shack, I was like, oh, I noticed your numbers from out of state. Where are you from? Question 1. He said, Pennsylvania. So my mom's from Pennsylvania. So I added that rapport. I don't have to care about them. I just made a connection. And then number 2, oh, so why are you looking at this business? Are you guys moving? Number 3, yes, we're going to sell our house and buy down here. So now I've got 2 more leads just from asking 2nd and 3rd level questions. So just wanted to add that. Welcome to After Party.
Absolutely, Chris. And that right there is her creating, developing a habit which led to better success quicker. Because we can be chatty Cathy's all we want. However, she had a plan. She stuck to the plan. She created a habit to build rapport in her calls. These are the types of things in our skill set that our habits are part of that skill set. It's mindset, skill set, habits, results, right? So if we are having a mindset block, like we've talked about today, a mindset success, which we talked about today, and we create that skill set to wrap around that habit, it becomes enjoyable, obvious, attractive, and easy. We hit all 4 laws in Atomic Habits. And what do we get? Results. So when we're being more purposeful with our daily habits that we're doing to create that habit stacking on top of each other is a win-win. So go and conquer the world. Now we are in the after party and I apologize. We did go 10 minutes over because my intention was to be done with all the content by 9. The recording is off. Oh, no, it's not either. It's still recording. The live is off, but the recording